Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. It's another episode of the Pop-Up Live. Yes, I'm wearing gloves that don't have fingers today, that don't match my camo sweatshirt. So everybody is all excited about this today. So we have the beautiful, wonderful, special TIsha today. Here she is. Everyone, welcome, TIsha. How are you? Now,
Hello.
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't want to mispronounce your last name. So say your name in full so that I don't mess it up.
TIsha Marie Pelletier.
Pelletier. I should have asked. But this leads us into when we just got on Zoom or StreamYard about 2.5 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. And we have had one other conversation, but we keep up with each other. But the fun part about what I try to do with Living with Annietude, and this is a pop-up live, so this isn't my normal time slot, but I like to do some random pop-ups during the week because it's fun to have really cool, interesting people on with me. Then I want to keep up with you and what you're doing. But what I think is most fun is, and a lot of people do this differently, but is when the first conversation is almost like our conversation on here live. Like TIsha so sweetly said to me about 2.5 minutes ago, because of course I did no preparation. I just jumped on and she's like, what should I expect? So what I like to do is sort of just say, look, I don't like to do a big bio. I don't like to do a big intro. I like to just say, you know what, tell me about you and what you have going on. I know that you and I are pretty aligned when it comes to our mindset and a lot of things that we put out there. So I already knew that going into it was going to be super fun to do. But I want to give you the opportunity to sort of just tell me like what you do, who you are, and what you have going on. And then we'll go from there. I'm going to ask some really, really grueling questions.
Grueling. Okay.
Really grueling. Try to get you like embarrassed or, no, I'm going to be completely gentle and we're just going to have a conversation. So,
okay. Okay. All right. I can hang with that. Thank you, Annie. Yay. All right. Hey, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are.
Depending where you are.
I'm in Arizona. I know, Annie, where are you? You're like back east?
I'm in Philly.
So yes, that's why she's got her gloves.
My non-matching gloves. But they're cool. They're very cool. But I mean, I have my fingers I can type, but they don't match at all. And I know what, this is what my show is. My show is here I am, and I don't really know any other way. I'm unapologetically me, and I don't match today.
You know what, though, Annie? I think that's why you and I get along so well, because the first time we actually spoke, you're like, I just jumped in the pool, and here I am.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Like your hair was wet. You're talking about your kids.
I was like, please excuse the way I look. My daughter dragged me in the pool. Michelle Madden is here. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you don't mind, TIsha, that I bring in comments. They make me anxious.
No.
So I like to bring them in. So I don't want to interrupt you, but please.
Yeah,
yes, I'm so happy you remembered that.
Yes. Well, I was like, that's the first encounter I had with Annie, and I just adore you because I think you and I are very similar in the way we're wired. We're just like, whatever happens, happens. Here we go. Like, that's what it is. So you're asking like, what's going on now? Well, I know next Wednesday, so excited, Annie, because I'm doing a talk for Arizona State University. I think you even saw this post where I was like, I was rejected and praised within an hour.
Yes,
like
I didn't
get the TEDx talk that I was like, I've got this in the bag, and then I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And within the hour, I know, but I got within an hour, like I got a gentleman from ASU saying, hey, I just heard about you. I would love for you to be our speaker to close out the semester. So now I'm gearing up to give a talk next Wednesday for Arizona State on finishing strong. And this isn't just for students. This is for anybody, which I'm like, bring it.
Okay. And you know what? Like it's so interesting how, and I don't mean to interrupt, I want you to tell me, but how one door opens and one door closes and another one opens. It's really, truly, it's not just a saying. It really is true because, and you said within an hour, you were so super bummed and then woof, this opportunity came across.
I think that's why, honestly, you can't stay down for too long. You're just like, all right, it didn't happen, moving on. Like, I think I've learned that through this whole COVID thing that I'm like, you just got to bounce. It's like, just get back up and bounce back.
That is such a great point that you bring up about during COVID, especially because, well, my son is supposed to be leaving for school.
Oh, hi, Sammy.
Hi, Sammy Lee. Thank you for saying, hi, Sammy, go to school. He definitely is doing that to me, like to mess with me on purpose. This is what he does. He messes with me. What time are you going on? 12, 15? And he's supposed to be walking out the door right now to go to school. They have they're in cohorts. So they have half days now that are half home for virtual Zoom school and then half where they go. So he's messing with me from downstairs in his bedroom. Jason Leibowitz, hi, how are you? Clear space to create space. That is so true. So during COVID, I have found that there's been obviously a lot of bad. I mean, there's sickness and death and there's horror, and our lives have been completely disrupted in every way. But there is something to be said for this unbelievable amount of connection that has been made during these months. I mean, I've said this on a million podcasts. I've said this to everybody that I've talked to. It's really grown my community and like the strength of the community. Hi, Sadia. Oh my God, my girl. That's a girl I just got my MBA and she's in my cohort. That's my girl. I'm so excited that she jumped on to say hi. But just the unbelievable amount of connection that it sort of has. I don't think you either can totally isolate or you can reach out and make more connection. And I've chosen to just grow my community. Do you feel the same way? Like it's just really sort of emphasized this.
Absolutely. I think that that's one of the benefits that has come out of COVID is, we're all in this together. Honestly, we're all in our houses, quarantined. Right. The one positive is that we're able to connect with people, not just in our own community, like locally, but now it expands globally.
It's beyond, I mean, it's like I have a client in Australia. I have someone I'm working with every day in Australia that, doing this meditation. I have it's crazy. Like it's not even like, it doesn't matter if you're next door or if you're across the globe and you just work it out and it's like just commonplace. And it was never really like that. I mean, it's really changed a lot. So there have been some benefits, but anyway, I completely cut you off. So tell me, so Arizona State, you have that talk coming up and that's next week or that's this week?
It's next Wednesday. So it is November 18th, giving a talk on finishing strong. So I'm prepping for that talk and I'm excited. I even have like my entrance music, like the Rocky music,
Oh, listen, I'm a Philly girl. I love that you have the Rocky music. That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, we gotta get that audience pumped up. Like, okay, Tisha's on stage. Tisha's on the virtual stage. So yes, I'm excited about that. The other thing, Annie, that I have learned is that I was I'm dead set on doing the speaker thing. I was like going in the speaker circuit route. And then of course, like the bottom fell out. But I will say that so many more opportunities, like you even talked about like millions of podcasts. I feel like this time that we've had, I've been on a lot of podcasts. I've been on a lot of live streams. I've met amazing connections. I've been able to keep sharing my message and what I'm doing because of so many incredible opportunities that I'm getting. And that's coming through connections.
Meaningful connection.
And community. And I'm meeting all of these people. So one thing that I'm gearing up for again in December is, me, like I love talking about personal branding. I love talking about how you cannot just keep staying in the sea of sameness. Like get out, start standing out, start branding yourself, start utilizing your best asset, which is you, to start putting yourself out there. And I love that I'm just coming at it with like, my badass attitude.
Yeah, totally. Badass Annietude. I love it.
Yeah. Like I want to teach you how to be authentically you. I want to teach you that you already have the tools in place and now it's time to bring it and level up you. And so I'm getting ready to host another personal brand builder challenge in December. Did my first one in October, which was just like, let's just do this. Okay, let's figure this out. Let's kind of, do this as we go. And I'm getting ready to do this next one in December 7th through the 11th to teach people how to start crafting their personal brand and laying the foundation for it, which I'm excited about. I love it. There's definitely a need for it.
Definitely. And people that's confusing to people and it's off-putting and it's like, what do you mean my personal brand? What does that mean? And I could never do that, or I don't even know where to start. And you sort of make that happen. I mean, you teach how to do this. So it's very empowering, I'm sure, for people. You actually impact and change people's lives, I'm quite sure.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, like, I think the personal branding thing is you have to be building your personal brand because, as you've said, Annie, we've had a lot of hurt throughout the last several months. We've had people who have lost their jobs. They were in these great opportunities that fell out the bottom, such as, like if you were in the events or hotel or hospitality industry. So now is the perfect time to take all those skills, take all those achievements, take all those things that make you you and start leading with that. And it's scary. It is so scary. I've had grown men like cry about it.
It is scary. And it's a huge fear from, I think it's because, like I said, that what you're doing and what you're implementing is so important because people just don't know where to start. And I made a video the other day about just taking the first step, like you just one thing at a time, you know, like, and it's very overwhelming. It's like, I could never do that. I'll just stay, like you said, in a sea of sameness. And then we wonder why we're not happy in that sameness.
Right. Exactly. So that's coming up. Got some other things popping up as well. But I'm excited that I'm still living true to who I am. Like I'm still incorporating, like I was telling Annie, for those of you listening, like I went to the gym for the first time this morning because I saw my credit card statement that I'm starting to get charged again. I was like, all right, I'm going to go. And it was weird. Like they had plexiglass all around every single treadmill and every single elliptical.
Oh, is that what they're doing? Because I work out at home, so I don't know. So there's plexiglass around each treadmill?
There is. So you walk in and you're like, it's almost like you're in your own little phone booth working out.
Well, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. You're protected from other people's sweat and
spit
and spit. Exactly. I'm like,
fumes. You
know what's so funny? I went to the dentist the other day, and he looked like a Martian when he was doing his work on me, and he had on like the plexiglass face thing and the eye thing, and then he said to me, he goes, you know, my face is like covered. This is covered when I'm done. And he goes, and I sort of wonder what we used to do. Like that used to land on me. And I was like, ew. I guess it's a benefit in what's happening. You know, we're really starting to protect ourselves in appropriate ways. Yes. I saw a picture of somebody on a plane the other day that was like a Martian. I mean, this is what we have to do, you know?
Yeah.
Fortunately, there was good news this morning in the medical community. I don't know if anybody saw it, but with Pfizer and possible vaccine happening, and someone that I respect a lot in the medical community said to me today that they think that it's going to be a shit show for the next couple months, but then it's really going to start to get better with the vaccine that's not effective. So I like really respect this person, and I was like, oh my God, your word is God's word. So please be right. Like, but she did say, you know, just try to be careful, especially with the kids coming home from college. In the next, you know, around Thanksgiving, it's going to be, you know, without them knowing, spreading, and there's going to be a lot of confusion and more outbreaks with that kind of stuff. So we just have to be extra careful, wear your masks, stay home as much as it sucks. I don't know if you felt like, I mean, I don't know what your family situation is. I know you have kids. I don't know, like, if you felt a tremendous loneliness. I think that I've gotten over a lot of my loneliness, but sometimes it hits me where I'm like a very social person. So like, I can't like, you know, I was working on my whole personal thing as I've been working on being alone, not partnered up with somebody, not having a spouse or a significant other. And, you know, when you don't have that, you sort of want to fill your time with yourself, of course, but, and work and things like that, but also girlfriends. Right. And it's like, I can't go to book club. I can't go to dinner with my girlfriends. I mean, now you sort of can, but you have to be so careful, and it's so different. There's a certain like intimacy with your friends that's missing without this connection piece. And I don't know if you felt that over this time, but if you wanted to like sort of tell me that I'm not totally abnormal, that would be awesome.
No, you are not. You're not abnormal. I was feeling the same thing. Like, it's hard. I mean, I'm so used to seeing my friends. I'm so used to being in, like you said, I go to a Bible study and I love it because I'm in with women and I'm meeting with them and I can be vulnerable. And I was like, okay, I guess Zoom it is. Like, it's just different. And so, yeah, I'm still taking time investing in people that matter to me. Making calls, or even if we are just doing lunch, masks on, whatever that is, because I still think we need that human interaction. I know I do. I'm meeting with a friend for lunch today, and I'm so excited to see him because he's gone through hell. He went through a job loss. His mother just passed. Like, I'm like, I can't just give you a virtual hug and hope that's okay. Like, I want to see you. So
yeah, there's definitely that. So it's both sides. You know, we talked about both. We covered like the fact that there are connections have grown so much as far as meaningful connection and like connecting, at least for me, like with people that I would, like you said, like that we would never, ever have connected with. I'm making more of an effort and growing my network and like really making, you know, not trying to sell, but like really making meaningful connections. But at the same time, on the same token, it's like, you know, there's that piece missing of that social aspect of my life that's like God, is this ever going to end? There's only so many masks I have that look good with the outfit I'm wearing. Like I don't
Oh,
want to
girl.
do paper mask. No,
I gave it a long time ago. I was like, whatever.
I totally. I have my Philadelphia Eagles mask, and that's what I sport, and I wash it after I use it. But other than that, I'm just in a lot, and it's like, you're right to go out and go with your friend. That's good that you're doing that and doing it in a protected way. It's been a really lonely time, I think, for a lot of people. So I like to connect with my listeners and viewers and just let them know that they're not alone. I mean, not everybody can have the privilege to, run out to lunch with a friend like we can. And I just want everybody to feel and know that they're not by themselves. But there is a woman here that will help you with your personal branding. If you're listening or watching or later on, and later view, you're like, what does that even mean? Explain to me in your words what personal branding even means.
Personal branding is putting you at the forefront. It is not hiding behind your company or, it's figuring out who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, and putting that out there. And when I ask Annie, like, where people are getting hung up on this, what do you think they say? What do you think they say? Like the one struggle they're having
is they don't want to be too vulnerable because they don't want to show their true selves.
They don't, it's that, but it's also that, like, we talk about how do you make these connections? And a lot of us are utilizing social media as our way to connect. But if you're getting on social media, they're not active on social media because they're like, what the heck am I supposed to share? What am I supposed to post?
What content? What do I post? Will anyone care? Type thing.
Right. But when we look at it, like, I'm doing a lot of storytelling. In fact, that was one of I'm just going to pat myself on the back. One of the things that I was most excited about this year was being named one of Arizona's top 48 storytellers. Like, that's huge.
That's so exciting. Oh my God. Congratulations.
I didn't even know that was a thing, but I was like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that on that list. Yeah. Because I do so much storytelling.
You do conversations in the Camry. Like, I mean, this is all you, girl.
Yeah, conversations. I'm doing a rule of life lesson as soon as we're off this, this live stream. I am so big about storytelling, and I say that to people. I'm like, you're making it too complicated. Like, it really is the stories that surround your life, the stories that you have day to day, the conversations that you have. It's things that you see. It's things that really speak to you. And when it moves you, imagine how it moves other people that are like you and similar to you. So you can't be too shy about, I can't post that. Like, if you read something, that's content. Like, if it spoke to you, that speaks to you, that aligns with your mission, your values, your beliefs, that's what you should be sharing.
It reminds me a lot of, this is going to sound funny. I don't know if you were a Seinfeld fan. Were you a Seinfeld person?
A little. I watched some.
You realize that now I know it was comedy, but the entire show was about nothing. I mean, it was about nothing. The funny parts of it were just like the regular things that they go through in everyday life. It wasn't like this big convoluted storytelling, right? It was just shows about, like, where you say to yourself, oh my God, that's freaking hilarious because that's happened to me before. It was shows about common and also like about nothing and just everyday stuff. Yeah. So that's what I think people don't get about content, that it's not about nothing per se, but doesn't have to be about this big monumental thing or this hilarious thing or this unbelievably dramatic thing that happened. It's sort of just about everyday life. That's what people connect to. That's what people, when I make my videos, like, I get the most engagement when I'm really raw and just like, you know what? I'm so overwhelmed today. I don't even know what to do with myself, but I'm here to tell you that we can get through this. And like, all that stuff is like the most thought out content that I have probably gets less engagement than that. Would you agree? It's just sort of like,
yeah. You know how earlier we were talking about how I got like rejected and praised within an hour, Annie? Yes. I literally wrote that post as soon as I got the announcement that I was speaking for ASU. I had just, for people watching, like, I had just been rejected. I did not get the TEDx. And then, I'm checking my Instagram. I got this message from this gentleman from ASU who's like, hey, we'd really love for you to be our speaker to close the semester. And I was like, well, there you go. I immediately went to sharing that on LinkedIn because I'm like, hey, I want you to know that you've got to bounce from this. You've got to keep your chin up and keep your head in the game. Like, yes, we're going to get rejected. We all get rejected.
Right.
There's not a person I know that hasn't been rejected time and time again. And I was just sharing that from this just happened right now in the moment. I'm just going to tell you what I was thinking at this very moment. And that post is still getting likes and views and, and it's I think one of my best posts,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it wasn't me overthinking it and going, I don't know if I should write that. Ooh, should I wait for this? Or, it was just in the moment kind of, here it is, people.
This is life. And that's exactly what resonates with people, is just being real. Like my entire brand, Living with Annietude, is about, wait, hold on. I have Mike Paterano, who's like my favorite. Being your best self daily is all any of us can do. Love this conversation. LWA is living and breathing at every moment. So he, of all people, as my partner, knows, that we work in business every day together. And knows that like my entire brand is based on being and showing your true self. And what I do is I help other people to find, uncover, and be their truest, most authentic selves. And it's exactly what you're saying. Like, this is what people want to see and want to hear versus, the really buttoned up and the tied up with a pretty bow and everything looks perfect. I mean, that's like so 2012, 2015, where everything looks great on Facebook and your family's perfect and no one's crying. 2020 is like, this is a shit show. My kid's hanging from the chandelier. My kid hasn't been to virtual school in a week. I don't know if he's going to pass, if he's going to fail out or pass. The teachers are calling. I mean, I'm in trouble with the principal, and I'm working. Trying to make a living and trying to pay bills. So, I mean, that's real life. And so what I try to do is focus on the moments. Like I'm like a huge supporter of like, I don't think people that, are going to be successful chasing happiness, because for example, you were not that you were chasing but that you were disappointed and you could have let that totally get you down. But on a dime, you got this other thing at ASU, and it's that moment, that feeling. Remember when you got what you felt when you got that? You were like, oh my God, like, or even when you got caught, whatever happens to you.
Yeah.
It's little things in life. I mean, with my kids, and I want to hear about your family, but like, I know we have kids similar ages, I think. But my children, I really try to capture the moments with them because they are fleeting and they go very, very quickly. And when they do, it's gone and it's back to real life, and the kids hanging from the chandelier and eating gummy bears for dinner, and it's like, you have a dentist appointment tomorrow, please floss. You know what I mean? Like it really, but like it's in that moment. Like yesterday, TIsha, my daughter scored her first soccer goal.
Wow. Yay. That's a big deal.
So I can't take credit, even though I'm a really good gift giver, but Mike Paterano was like, Annie, you got to do something to celebrate. So I got her a cake. And I sang to her, and in my voice, that's really saying a lot. And I said, happy first goal to you, and we blew out the candle, and she was so psyched. And like, you know what? She will remember that. For as crazy as she thinks I am, she was like, you're not like other moms. I was like, I know. Like, I mean, it was a moment, she's not going to soon forget that. I don't know if you sort of feel like it's hard with being a parent, but also capturing those moments is so important.
One thing that happened for us in COVID is we started to make this tradition, especially with my daughter, Ellie. Like, so my kids are 12 and Ellie is turning 9 in a couple weeks on the 23rd. And because we couldn't go out much, I was like, well, what's the one thing that's open that I know we will all enjoy? And it was so simple. It was froyo, especially being in Arizona.
Yeah.
And so last Wednesday, picked my son up. My daughter gets out early, and I said, you know what, kids, let's go get frozen yogurt. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'll go get frozen yogurt. And it's not like it's a lot of time. Like, you go get your yogurt, you sit there.
Wait, time out for 1 second. I need to stop you because I have to say this because of the live show, but I thought you said rodeo.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, did you see my face? I was kind of like, oh, awesome. And then I was thinking, what? But I really wanted to hear about it. And then I realized you said froyo. And normally, like, if it was like a client or something conversation, I would just let it go. But I had to share that. I thought you were going to the rodeo and you were like, everybody in my family, we're in Arizona. Of course we enjoy the rodeo. Anyway,
I don't know if I've ever actually been to the rodeo.
I haven't either. That's why I was infatuated with finding out. Anyway, froyo. Got it. Okay.
Just, something as simple as just like, let's go, let's do this together, let's sit down, let's talk about our days. We went on a Wednesday and we realized it was like Waffle Wednesday. So every Wednesday they give you a free waffle cone with your froyo. And I just sat there, Annie, and like we were sitting outside and I said, kids, I think this has to be our tradition where I pick you up and we just do this like once a month, twice a month, whatever it is, but we need to be doing this. We need to be just making this our tradition, the mom and kid tradition. And that's all that really is. Like we think about, well, we need to spend gobs of money and we got to do this.
No,
my daughter, yeah, she was happiest just going and walking around the lake and feeding baby ducks. Like that's what got us through in COVID is just, hey, let's go take a walk. Let's go feed the ducks, bring your oatmeal, whatever that is you want to, feed them. And that was it. Like it really is the simple things.
It's
and
the littlest moments. And I posted the other day about my daughter that said, I was all set and doing my work in the morning and I was ready to go. And my daughter came pitter pattering in my room. And I was like, oh, she's like the first thought was like, oh, and then she said, Mommy, will you lay with me? And I thought, how can I say no to this little girl who like isn't going to say that to me forever? And I held her for a few minutes. And it was that moment that was like, how do I not stop? And actually, what's so interesting, Tisha, somebody texted me today or messaged me on LinkedIn who I've never spoken to and was like, I was doing my reading the other day and my daughter asked me to stop and do something with her. And because of your post, I did. Yeah. And thank you. It was awesome. And I was like, oh, like I started to cry. I'm like, I'm so happy that if she was the only one that saw my post, that I actually impacted her enough to make that change. And she enjoyed that moment. And her daughter probably won't forget that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you're exactly right. Walking around a lake, like they don't need to go on some vacation where, you're spending all these thousands of dollars. It's just about the moments.
It is.
You get caught up in the other BS and we can't.
I think what this has also taught me is that I am so much more about the minimalistic life. I don't know if that's happened with you, Annie, of like, I don't need this. I can toss this. Why do I have 100 pairs of shoes in my
Oh my God, 100%. Yeah. And I really do. I just moved and I counted. It's really silly.
It's sick. It's sick. Like, I'm like, I don't know why I have this. I don't even go anywhere, but I think what's happening though too, is I'm watching my kids as they're also picking that up. Whereas my daughter even, her birthday's coming up and she's like, I just want a Fitbit. Like, that's all I want. I don't want anything else. I don't want to have the party. I just want to spend time with my family. Like she's content of just like, let's go to a trampoline park on my birthday and let's just you and me and the family hang out and jump around and I am good. And
that's called, you're showing her gratitude and what matters and what's important, because all that other stuff will never fill voids. It will never, fill these holes that people have. And it's this kind of stuff that fills those holes and fills those voids and makes you full as a person. And then you can live life with gratitude, which, for many people is not easy, but we are teaching our kids to. And I think that's so super important. So pat us both on the back for teaching our children about gratitude and moments and what's important. But we are already at 12:28. So it's crazy. It flies when I talk to someone wonderful and beautiful like yourself. Where can people find you besides, I know they can find you on LinkedIn, but where can people find you if they're like, oh my God, I need to talk about personal branding. I need to get with this girl. She's amazing.
Yes. So my website is a great place to go, TIshaMarie.com. So just my first name, my middle name, and then the Personal Brand Builder Challenge. So it's personalbrandbuilderchallenge.com. And that's that free 5-day challenge, Annie, that I'm running on December 7th through the 11th. And it's like, get ready to learn. My team and I are ready. Like, we unpack everything that you need to know. That's and amazing. Then wrap it up and say, here you go. So there's opportunities for us to work together, of course, but I'm like, I just want to help you. Like, if you were stuck, let's get you unstuck, and let's get you understanding why you need this, whether you're an entrepreneur, a college student, or you're working for corporate. The one thing that we have, so here's what I love to say, like, companies, titles, they all can go away at any time, but your personal brand is what sticks with you. It is really what's sustainable. Right. And that's why we all need to be doing that, because as you know, we're all unique individuals.
Well, exactly. And it's just this way, your job doesn't define you, but you define you. You
define you.
So that's why it's so super important. I love your message. I love everything that you preach about authenticity and showing up with the strengths that you have and highlighting them. I just love all of it. So I'm so happy that we got to chat and you came on, and your mom didn't walk in though. So I'm upset. Remember that podcast you were on where your mom walked in and you did a post about it? That was so freaking cute. I'm just super bummed no one visited us today. So, maybe next time.
Although my husband, I think, just got home from like grabbing groceries. So I hear him and the dogs running around outside.
You could have at least come say hi. You could have said hi. But listen, thank you for taking the time this morning to, after the gym and getting all pretty and showered, showing me up today. No, but I'm so happy that we were able to chat and I got to learn more. And hopefully, people that are interested in learning more, which I'm sure there will be, will come to you from hearing about you here. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Annie. Have a great week, everyone. And thank you for having me
Hang
on.
on one sec. I'm going to just I want to say bye, like officially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, peace out. Have a great day. Thanks for coming to my pop-up. Living with Annietude, what it is. All right, bye.